All right, guys, we're going to get started. Today is our fourth session for our series, our fourth series, actually, of our whole body strengthening. Technically, this is really the first series of our whole body strengthening. We just happen to be doing four. This is our fourth session or fourth series for core and hip strengthening, which we're going to be doing here as well. We're going to incorporate a couple upper extremity strengthening exercises to get the whole body. But we're going to go ahead and get started here with Amanda. Amanda, we're going to start a little bit differently today. We're going to start in a standing position to do our squats. Okay, we're going to get our TheraBand on. And just above the knees if you have this at home. And I'm going to change the screen angle to be a little lower. I'm going to back this up here. Okay. No, not for this one yet. So face the camera first, Amanda, and then notice how her knees are pointing straight ahead. She's pushing slightly into the band so she feels that resistance on the side of her hips, and maybe spread your feet apart just a little bit more. Okay, so let's start with our squats. We're going to do 3 sets of 15. The first one, we're going to go ahead and just do from this angle here. So go ahead and squat back, booty back, trunk forward, beautiful, and then come back up and repeat that 15 times. Good. And again, nice work. Notice how her trunk is coming toward the camera and her booty is going away from the camera. Let me move the angle up. You can kind of see the knees are staying perfectly in line with the hips there. And then I'm going to move up a little bit and you can see the trunk moving toward the camera. And then again, the booty back away from it. This is to help incorporate not only the thigh muscles, the quads, but also the gluteal muscles to get a whole lower extremity strengthening. Very, very important muscle group and very, very important exercise. If you don't have end-stage knee arthritis, I do this with almost all of my patients that come in with any kind of problem in their legs. Okay. Good, so I didn't count. Okay, so that's 15. Take a quick pause and then face the wall there. So now you got a profile of her. And now it's the same thing, 2 sets of 15. Let's look at her knees. And go ahead, Amanda. Again, trunk goes forward. She's initiating the movement from that hinge right here in her hip. That's where the movement is initiated. And that's where the joint that's moving the most is in that hip joint. And again, now you can really see that trunk moving forward and the booty back as she's completing the exercise. The knees are still facing straight ahead and about hip width apart, pushing into the TheraBand. You can't see that from this angle, but I just wanted you to appreciate what's happening from this side angle. Good. And the other thing to notice is her trunk is nice and tight, therefore keeping her spine in the back perfectly straight there. Okay, and that's going to be really important for our next exercise, which is a deadlift. Okay, which will be a challenging exercise, but a very, very useful one for people with low back pain, chronic low back pain, and issues with pain when they lift items from the ground, or lifting up your grandchildren, those kind of things. Really, really important exercise. Okay, so the last squat is going to be a squat hold, and let's do it in the same angle, Amanda. So this one she's going to hold, let's see, for 30 to 45 seconds. So whenever you're ready, you're going to go down into your squat, Amanda, and then hold it there. And we started the timer. The goal is to hold for 45 seconds, but if she can only hold for 30, that's okay. Do the best you can here. So the position remains exactly the same as when she was going on her repetitions. It's just that she's holding it at the bottom, and here she should feel the thigh muscles working, the gluteal muscles working. And one cue that I'm going to give her is to, Amanda, pretend you want to spread the floor apart or create with your feet. Okay, so she's moving her feet in an outward direction, and of course her feet do not move. They're kind of planted into the ground, but she's creating that outward force. And when she does that, she's going to feel more activity on the side of her hips and glutes. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back up. You held that for a minute. Nice job, Amanda. So we gave her a little bonus there, since today is her last of her session for her fourth session of whole body strengthening exercise routine. Okay, so now we're gonna go into deadlift, and I'm gonna demonstrate this one, Amanda, just so I can make sure that I have exactly what I need here. Okay, so I'm gonna do it from the side profile angle. And what we're gonna see here is, again, that same activity of the glutes. I'm gonna move the camera angle down just a little bit so you can see a little bit more of my knees and feet. And what we're gonna see here is the same booty back, but this time my trunk is gonna go further forward, almost till it gets parallel to the ground or parallel to the ceiling. My knees are slightly bent, but less than what they were in the squat that Amanda demonstrated. And your hands are going straight down, and then you come back up. Okay, so you come back up, keeping your spine straight. When you go down, you're still keeping your spine straight. And you're gonna feel this in the hamstrings, and then come back up. So that's the demonstration. I'm gonna move the angle here, camera back a little further back so you can see a little bit more whole body. So this is where you're picking up something from the ground, laundry basket or something, and then back up. And when you come back up, the movement is initiated by you pushing those glutes forward, okay? And the glutes are doing a lot of the work to initiate that. You don't want to just roll up, because then you don't get anything in the glutes and you end up bending your spine, which you don't want to do. So again, knees stay relatively straight. There's a slight bend. Get to the point where your trunk is completely in line or parallel to the ground or parallel to the ceiling, and then you come up and you squeeze the glutes up top, okay? So we're gonna go for a few repetitions. The other way you can do it is you have this handy stick here. You can put this on your spine, keep the stick in contact with your back and your head all the way down to your tailbone the entire time. And what it's gonna look like is something like this. And you come back up. And again, here and back up, here and back up. And we're gonna go a few. Yep. So let's go here so you can see the stick. And let's see if that's a better angle. Here and back up. And we're gonna go a few repetitions for our first set. This is gonna be 8 to 10 based on your handout. There and back up. My knees are bending very little, mostly coming from the hinge at my hip, and my trunk is staying straight, parallel. And again, once we get to here, we pause for a second, and then we drive it up with our glutes. Last one, pause for a second, and we drive it up with our glutes, okay? That is a deadlift, and that's something that I incorporate for a lot of our patients with back pain once the initial acute pain has resolved. Okay, we're gonna do one more. Okay, so hand up here. Yep, the 3 points again that should touch the stick are the head, the middle of your spine, and then the kind of the tailbone sacrum area. Okay, they should stay in contact the entire time. Okay, so here we go. Knees are staying relatively straight. Little bend. You're gonna feel this a lot in the hamstring. And just like all the exercises we've done here, your abdominals should be nice and active, really working to stabilize your spine. Just with the addition here, it's working your glutes and your lower back muscles now. Very, very important exercise for people with low back pain, believe it or not. We do teach this in the clinic. And one more. Good. Let me take a break. Okay, that is deadlift, and that'll be a really nice exercise for those of you who can do this without pain. Okay, we're gonna get onto our back and move to our core part of our session. Amanda, you can take the TheraBand off. And let me get her positioned. Let me put a towel down so they can see contrast. Okay, so just the white to get some contrast with her black pants and the black mat. Okay, so the first one is going to be bicycle without involving the head. Okay, so she's going to bring her legs up in double tabletop. For those of you who've been with us for a while, you should know this position. And then from here, keep your abdominals nice and tight, pull the spine in, try to flatten out your back as you extend one leg out. Good, and then bring that back in, and I'll do the left one, bring it back in, and then the right one, and try to go a little lower on the next one, Amanda, if you can. getting better. Good. She could not really extend very far when we first started, so Amanda has really benefited from these classes. Good. And she is doing 15 repetitions on each side. So I hope you're counting. Good. Try to really straighten out that knee. Good. And just adjust the height. That way you can fully straighten the knee, because that's what I want to see. Even if the height is not very, it's still high, the lower you go on this with the leg, the more difficult, the more challenging for your abdominals. So she's kind of staying in the middle, just so she can control it with her abs and her core. And notice that her pelvis is not moving. She's doing a really nice job here. Much stronger, Amanda. This looks really good. And she's going to take a little pause. And we're going to do one more when she's ready in about 10 seconds. Okay, go ahead. And 15 here as well. Good. She's starting to get tired because you're starting to see more pelvic movement. She's having a harder time controlling it with her lower abdominals. And that's part of it, guys. It's part of developing the strength, the endurance to be able to do this for a prolonged period of time. So we not only work to generate force and get stronger for one repetition, but also for endurance. Many of the activities that we do at home require endurance. That's what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to do one repetition of bicycle with her hands or her fingers interlaced behind her head. And what she's going to do is, if she straightens out her right knee or right leg, then she's going to curl at a diagonal toward her opposite knee. So right elbow toward her there. Perfect. And switch. So straightens out the right, she rotates left. Straightens out the left, she rotates right. And she wants to try to meet that elbow toward that thigh and really never rest those shoulder blades back. They always stay up. She's always in a constant curl up position. And it's just varied in terms of how far she extends one leg. So you can see she has a harder time with that left. She has an issue on that left hip, which we've been trying to help her with as well. Good. Doing well. Try to straighten out. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Good. Even if, again, if the leg doesn't go too low, I'm okay with that. Okay. Very nice. So she did 12, which is fine. We'll leave it at that for this one. On your handout, you have 2 sets, but I'm going to skip that second set to give her a little bit of a break. Okay. Okay, so she is throwing the gauntlet down. She wants to do it. That second set of 12. Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. That's a good sign, actually. She actually said something very important, is that she feels it more in her abs now than she does in her legs. I think when we started working, together about, I don't know, a month or 2 ago, 4 sessions ago, whatever that is, she was feeling it more in her legs and her hip flexors than she was in her abs. As her abs have gotten stronger, now her spine is able to stabilize her pelvis, which allows her to feel it more in her core and less in her hip flexors. All right, let's go. And good, good. And she starts off really strong, and then she tires out, which again is part of that endurance. So Amanda, I want you to straighten out that knee. You might not be able to go as low to the ground, but as long as that knee is straight, okay. There you go, good. And she's doing a better job of curling up, and that elbow is now meeting her thigh. Just keep your shoulder blades off the mat. Good. Very nice. Okay. Good work. She's going to rest for, I'm going to give her a 30-second break because the next one is even more challenging. The next exercise requires either a weight, a medicine ball, or something that is weighted, anywhere from 5 to 15 pounds. We are using an inflated or a medicine ball, a pseudo medicine ball to provide our weight, okay? And she's gonna hold that there, and then she's gonna go into a long sitting position. Let's see how she does with this. So straighten your knees out, Amanda, and go ahead and sit up. You can rest both legs on the ground and go ahead and sit up, good.
All the way?
Yep, just like that, okay. Now from here, what she's gonna do is she's going to keep her knees straight. She's gonna keep her spine nice and stacked here in this position, and she's gonna slightly lean back, perfect. Now bring that ball out in front of you. You're kind of serving the platter or tray, and then hold this position, lean back just a little bit, hold this straight position, really pull in your core, and then push up through here. Now hold that. Already right there, she should already be challenged just to even hold this. Now she's gonna rotate that ball to her side, completely to her right. So rotate the ball, keep the elbow straight. Good, that's right. And now go back to center, and now go to the left. These are called Russian twists. There's many, many variations of this. This tends to be one of the easier ones. As she gets stronger, I would lift her legs up off the ground.
Ready?
And she's gonna do, let's do 8 to each side, Amanda. Okay, again, trying to keep this spine straight in a straight arrow line there.
Pause in the middle, right?
Yep, pause in the middle for now. As she continues to get stronger, the pause goes away so she doesn't have to stop. So it's going from one rotation on one side to the other. And she's doing great. And she should really feel her obliques working, the side of her core here. She's gonna pause. She's feeling more her arms. Okay.
All over, but
That's good. All right, she's gonna pause for 10 seconds, and then we're gonna go again. Again, really focus on this one, on this last set, to really keep your spine straight and don't let it flex on you. Okay, elbow straight, trunk straight, and lean back, lean back, lean back, lean back. Good, right there, nice straight line, and go ahead. One. Good. Good. Her trunk looks okay so far. It's starting to flex a little bit as she starts to get tired, to really continue that stack and that backward leaning just a bit, Amanda. Push up to the middle of your lower back so that it straightens out your spine, stacking it in an angled leaning back position. Good. All right, and she's going to roll back down and just pull the knees into the chest and just rest for just a minute. Okay, give her a little break and just hold it there. Holding the spine in that position can be a little tiring for the erector back extensor muscles, so it's a nice break for her. And this is also setting her up for her next position, next exercise, which is a double leg kick with a medicine ball overhead. Okay, so this one truly does require a kind of a weighted object or a weighted ball, and we're going to have this one here. Good. I'm going to pull this out. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to bring the ball straight up to the ceiling. Good. Bring your legs up into a double tabletop position. Perfect. Now, as she's going to bring her arms back behind her like she's taking the ball over her head. Good, as far as she can, controlling her spine right there, and then come back to center. Okay, good. A couple times. Bring the ball up and overhead. Her spine does not move, and she's using her abdominals to keep her spine from moving as her arms are moving overhead. Good, and back to center. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is as her arms are moving back, her legs are going to kick out. Again, the hardest, I guess, progression would be that her legs completely kick out and they're almost flat against the ground or the table. She's only going to kick them out a little bit because she's going to have a hard time, and this is a really hard exercise. So there and back. So now she's getting a perturbation or a challenge from both ends, from her arms as well as her legs. So what's in the middle are her abdominals and her core that is left to stabilize her spine and her pelvis. And she is doing 8 to 10 here. Okay, she's gonna get tired pretty quickly here. And again, the lower she brings her legs, the more difficult, as long as she's able to control it in that midsection area. Good. Very nice. Abdominals are nice and tight, and her spine is staying relatively quiet. Her pelvis looks relatively quiet as well. And I lost count in a minute, so that's 10. Good, so she did 10. Give her a nice long break. You will be sore. This is one of the first eccentric exercises that we've done for the core in this series. Eccentric means that her muscles in her abdominals are lengthening, meaning they're being stretched out to create force, versus most of the other exercises, either they've been in a neutral position or they shortened, like you would do when you do a crunch or a sit-up. Okay, so now her abdominals are lengthening because her arms are going overhead and her legs are straightening out, which is causing the abdominals in the middle to lengthen and stretch, while still controlling and producing force to, again, produce the stability at the pelvis and the lower back. Okay, last one for this one. Same thing, tabletop with the legs, ball overhead, and then good, straighten and back down. She's gonna do 10 reps here. She can do, hopefully get to the 10th rep. Good. So you can see if she had a weighted ball that was heavier, it would make it more challenging for her arms and more challenging for her core. So she's already challenged enough. So she doesn't need a weighted ball. So you can do this with a very light ball, or even just your arms by itself. Just the weight of your arms going overhead would be enough of a challenge if you're just kind of starting out. Okay, perfect. So she's done with the ball for now. And then she's going to do stand up, and I'll demonstrate the next one, which is more for the upper extremity for the arms and for the scapular stabilizers. So this is a punching exercise. The sheet that you have you've been issued has been doing crosses, okay, across the body. I'm gonna have you keep your trunk steady so nothing really moves in your trunk or your pelvis, except the only thing that moves are your arms. So it's here, 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 here. And I'm using my abdominals to stabilize everything else and prevent it from moving, okay? And notice that when I throw my punches, at the end point, I do a little rotation down. I supinate down, I pronate my forearm and get that extension of the elbow fully. Okay, here, here, and we're gonna start to add the speed. And you can do a little bounce up and down, but I don't want any rotation in the trunk. And you're gonna start to feel the core really start to warm up and the arms and the shoulder stabilizers really working. Okay, so I'm gonna turn sideways and we're gonna go this way. So here, 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 here. It's a little bounce just to get the momentum. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears, and you're gonna start to feel the arms really starting to get tired if you finish your punches. Again, it's a little rotation, pronation down, full extension of the elbows, and back and forth. This one we're doing about, I think I wrote 30 on the handout. So these are our endurance repetitions for a prolonged period of time. Okay, and then let's take a break. Give you a little break, and you will feel the arms tired. You'll feel the abdominals nice and warmed up here. Okay, one more. So it's 20. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, so again, shoulders, shoulder blade stabilizers, and a lot of core. Okay, I have one more thing for us. We're gonna do an Amrap. It's been tradition that on the last class of every series that we do an Amrap. For those of you who are new, an Amrap is a strengthening principle that stands for as many reps as possible during a given time. Okay, so Amrap, as many reps as possible. So we're gonna pick 4 exercises that we did here today, and we're gonna do it for 2 minutes consecutive. Okay, so we're gonna do our deadlift. No, we're gonna do our squats. She's gonna hold one for, she's gonna do as many reps as she can with proper form, 30 seconds. Then we'll move to our double leg kickouts with the medicine ball, our Russian twists, and then finish with her punches. So 4 exercises. Each one's gonna be 30 seconds. So band on. And So it's going to be a total of 2 minutes, as many reps as possible. Nope, so no rest period either in between. Okay, yeah, that's the only thing she's going to get a rest is for her removing her TheraBand. Are we ready? Okay, so let's watch her knees and her hips, and Amanda, go. So as many reps as possible. 1, 2, all the way up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 15, and take a break, band off, onto her back. She's gonna do her crisscross bicycles with a crossover. Whenever you're ready, go. Still the proper form. What this is working on now is endurance and really just getting a little bit of a cardio component because she's moving from one exercise to the other. You got about 10 seconds remaining on this set. 3, 2, 1, good. Overhead, good. Legs up, and then go. 1, good. Spine stays straight. So now we're putting it all together. We're jumping from one exercise to the other, still expecting the proper form. And take a break. Good. Stand back up and let's do our punches. Okay. So remember, you're here. Stabilize your core. You're just punching straight ahead. So start here and then punching. Good. Stabilize that core really nice and tight through your abdominals. She's finishing her punches. She's rotating down. And take a break. That is the end of the first AMRAP. She's going to do one more. Just so she can see how many she was able to do. Okay, so last one. This will take us right to our time. We started a little bit late, so we're giving you your entire half-hour workout. All right, you ready? Nope. 10 seconds left of rest, and then she's going to go ahead and start. 5, 4. So this time we're going to face it so you can see her knees. 2, 1, and go. Okay, so still focusing on her trunk forward, booty back, and she's keeping a count. So whatever number you did the first set, you should be able to reproduce it on the second set. Normally we do about 3 to 4 AMRAPs. We're only going to do 2 here today. And even on the 4th AMRAP, she would still do the same number of sets or that number of exercises per exercise. Good, and take a break. Okay, onto her back, and she's going to try not to fall. She's going to go onto her bicycles with rotation. When you're ready, go. Good. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7. And rest. Good. Here comes the ball. I'm going to give her a 5-second rest in between exercises, and she's going to do overhead extension with the leg kickouts. When you're ready, go. So even though we're trying to do as many reps as possible, she's still focused on her form. Doesn't do any good to have bad form to try to do as many reps as possible if you end up getting hurt. Then you can't exercise at all. Okay. So she's doing great. She's got another 5 seconds remaining. Extend those knees. She's getting tired. Coming down to the finish line and take a break. All right, last one. She's gonna do her punches. Whichever angle you want to go. Let's face the camera this time so you can see the rotation. Good, go. So bring the arms back, bring it back here, bring it back. There you go. Try not to rotate your trunk, just straight ahead and finish your punches. Good. stabilizing through her core. And shoulders don't really move. Trunk really stays nice and steady. And in order to do that, she has to really work with her abdominals. And her shoulders are working. Believe it or not, this is really hard. This is why boxers are so muscular and defined, at least the light and the middle weights. The heavy weights tend to be a little bit less ripped, but the middle weights and the lower weights tend to be very, very cut and defined because of how much muscle activity they get and time. Good. She finished. She got through 2 sets of Amraps, and I think she is done. So I hope to see some of you guys in our next series. In the next series, we're going to move on and continue and progress upon the deadlift that we did today and continue to progress toward more difficult progressions on that. Hope you guys can join us. I hope you guys can exercise and continue to work on some of the things we've worked on. You have all the handouts, and hope to see you guys soon. Our time has changed, and our next series next week will start Tuesdays at 3:30. Okay, so make sure you guys look out for that when you sign up for your classes on our site. I'll see you guys all soon.